Let's take a look at Hot Toys Miles Morales. Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. And in this video we're going to take a look at my latest delivery, the Hot Toys Miles Morales. This is a very awesome looking piece. This is the MMS 567 1/6 scale collectible Miles Morales figure from, of course, Into the Spider-Verse. Now, I've been wanting to pick up a Miles Morales hot toy for quite some time now, and I decided on this one because this is kind of the original look from the first film, and after the success of the second film and the anticipation of the third film, he's a character that's only going to get stronger and stronger in the movies, but of course has been in the comic books for quite some time. And me personally, I absolutely love this look of him. I love the stylized design that they gave him in the movie, so I'm really pleased to be adding this hot toy to my collection. So without further ado, let's open him up and take a closer look. Now, I should say, if you're interested in this particular figure, do take a look at the description of this video, because there is a link in the description that takes you directly to the website so you can see it. There's a whole bunch of photographs and specifications and all that kind of stuff, and you can pick one up yourself. It's a very cool figure indeed. Okay, let's take a closer look at this 1/6 scale Miles Morales from Hot Toys. The box and the artwork is absolutely stunning. Looks just like it does from the movie. It's got a lot of reflective parts on it and that. I mean, the Hot Toy boxes are a work of art in themselves anyway. Once you lift up the sleeve, you can see all of the accessories and all of the things that come with this particular figure. The really cool thing about it is there is dual looks. So you can have him as Miles Morales, or you can have him as Spider-Man, or you can have him as Spider-Man in the hoodie and the shorts. Here it is in the kind of window box. You can see everything on display. And once you open the box, you can see there's this huge background piece as well, which is made of card, but it's like a thick, sturdy card. And then, of course, you've got the awesome figure and all the accessories as well. Just take a little bit of a closer look of how they're all displayed. Now, for me, the iconic kind of look of Spider-Man in this movie is with that hoodie and shorts and the shoes as well. So I think that's pretty much how I'm going to display mine. But let's get them out of the box and take a closer look. Now, we have 4 sets of eyes. There's 3 here in the packet. There's like a wide, a thinner one, and then a more kind of focused, really thin one. And then you have the set of eyes on the actual figure as well. You've got little accessories there. You've got the 2 shoes, like the trainers or sneakers, depending where you are. You've got a spray can, you've got an extra lace, and you've got a whole bunch of hands, both as Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Let's open it up because I want to see what these accessories are. Now, I can see the first one is the Spider-Man costume that he picks up at the beginning of the movie when he first starts acting as Spider-Man. And I think that's a really nice little touch, but let's get straight into the shoes, because let's be honest. Now, the only disappointing thing about this, I suppose, and it's the same as all the Miles Morales kind of figures, is that they're not actual Jordans, they're not Nikes, because it's not licensed, so they can't make them actual Nikes, but they're as close to them as they could be, and you get the idea. You kind of get the feel for them. They look as good as they could be. Nice little touch here is you've got the undone lace, and you've also got the done up lace. So if you want to have them both done up, you can, or you can have one of them undone with the laces kind of flapping around. So if you're doing them in like a jumping pose or a swinging pose, then the undone lace is quite a nice little touch. As I said, there's the little Spider-Man costume. We'll have a look. There's the little bit of kind of work that he was doing, like the artwork. These are actually stickers, which is a really nice little touch. And there's the costume as well, and that's actually fabric. Now, I'm not going to open it up because it's an accessory, but I'm pretty sure that it doesn't fit. It just looks like a fabric piece that's got the design on it. So I'm going to leave it all together because it's an accessory. Now, the spray can, I've got to give real props to here, especially as I use spray cans as well. The attention to detail here on this spray can is really nice, and there's a little Miles hand here as well, and as you can see, the fingers are kind of weirdly placed, and that's because it's designed to hold the spray can. So if you've got him as Miles, you can pop the lid off, and the spray can actually fits in his hand with his finger on the top there as well. So yeah, that is a really nice touch. If you're going to display him as Miles, the spray can is definitely a good option. What I would like to do is maybe get another body and see if I can kind of make a Miles Morales out of that body, because you do have a whole bunch of clothes. Now, there's a whole bunch of different hands. There's open palm hands, there's closed fist hands, there's thwipping hands, there's wall crawling hands, so you can pretty much have him in whichever pose you want to have him in. But that's all of the accessories. I'm going to leave the shoes out because I'm going to put them on and show you how they go on the figure, and I'm going to leave the eyes out as well because we'll swap those around in a little while as well. Now, as with all Hot Toys, you get a nice instruction booklet as well, which just shows you all the limitations and kind of limits of the figure, where's the best places to kind of bend the knees and change the angles and all that kind of stuff. And it's always good to cast your eyes over these at least once, just so you don't kind of break anything or push anything in the direction that it's not supposed to go. And there's a few little things here that I didn't know from just looking at the box. So the two alternate heads you have for Miles, you can swap the hair and the mask around so you can have different expressions. Shows you where the webs go in on the wrist articulation as well. But let's get the actual figure out because I want to have a look at him. So here are the web pieces. Oh, I've knocked a piece out there. So you've got, what is that, 4 web pieces, 5 web pieces. And you've also got more of a sprayed out web kind of effect piece. So that can attach to the end of one of the web pieces as well. As well as that, you've got his leg pieces. Now, from looking at the box, I didn't realise that these were sleeves. They're kind of rubber sleeves that go over the top of the Miles Morales figure. I actually thought they'd be hard things. You've also got a neck piece. So if you're going to turn him into Miles Morales, like the civilian one, you can any of the exposed skin, this will cover up all of the suits. Now, the actual sculpt on the head is near to perfect. It looks exactly like he does in the film. I'm just going to pop that back there. They've really got the attention to detail pretty much spot on here. And this is a younger Miles Morales as well. He's naturally aged a little bit in the second film, but in this first film he is a little bit younger. So yeah, it's a bit more baby faced, but there we go. And there's the figure. It's a really decent figure. So the mask of the head is plastic, the hands are plastic, and the rest is within a kind of suit piece. So there's the base as well, put that over there. So yes, it's a bit of a mix and match, but you can't really tell, to be honest with you. I know some of the figures have like an all-in-one costume piece, and even the hands are kind of fabric and stuff, but this one doesn't have that. But you can't tell when it's kind of up and displayed and that, you really can't tell that the mask and the suit are made of different materials. They really do blend together nicely. Now, he does look quite skinny, but I suppose in the movie he is quite skinny, so they've got the proportions pretty much right. It's just, yeah, he just looks a little bit skinnier than I kind of expected him to look, but when I actually think about the character in the film, he is very skinny, so I'm quite pleased that he looks this way. But looking at other Hot Toys Spider-Man figures, they're obviously a lot more bulkier, so he has got quite skinny legs. Now, there is a particular way to put these shoes on, and I'm not going to force them because you have to kind of put this foot in. It's like bend the toe up and kind of wriggle the foot in, so I'm going to do that in a second. We'll do it in a minute. But yeah, the shoes essentially slip over his costume. So the costume feet of his Spider-Man costume stay on. You don't take any feet off or anything like that. They are shoes that actually go onto the figure. Now, just standing him up, he stands up pretty well once you get those feet in the right position. Balance is quite good on it, and you wouldn't need the stands to stand him up. You could have him in like a museum pose, like stood like this, and you wouldn't necessarily need the stand in order to make that work. Here are the soft goods. Now, this is very cool. You've got a pair of joggers, a pair of tracksuit bottoms that do go with him, and that's where you'd use the little exposed kind of skin piece. You've also got the shorts, which I'm going to take off because I'm going to put them on him, and you've got this kind of tank top vest thing as well. So I'm going to put the vest and the joggers aside together because I am going to use them and try to create a Miles Morales figure on the base of another figure using the accessories from this pack. See if we can kind of make 2 figures out of one, but I'll do that at a later date and maybe do another video. So to open the actual belt, there's a little bit of velcro in the fly, and the belt does actually open. Now just be careful, don't pull this bit too hard because it's not a real working buckle. What you actually need to do is you kind of get this end piece of the belt and just take it out of the belt loop like this, and then it loosens up automatically. Just pull this bit here and it loosens it up, and then you can open the velcro of the fly, and the shorts go on really easy. Just pop the feet in just like that and slide them over, and then you can just do it up when they're on him. But there we go, teaching you how to put a pair of shorts on essentially, like dressing a child. But they are good soft goods, and they do look like they do on the film. They're bigger than the figure, they're kind of baggier. They look quite big in the waist, so they do kind of make his the top half of his legs look bigger. But yeah, they're a real nice touch. Now,
what I was saying about the feet is you can bend the toe, so there is articulation in the toe as well as the ankle, but you bend the toe and you kind of slide that bit in so that that bit's in the shoe, and then you kind of have to just kind of twist and wriggle the rubber of the shoe over the ankle. Now do be careful, don't use too much brute force. Actually do wiggle it like it says it in the instructions, because if you use too much brute force you could just snap it, and you can kind of feel where it's going to give, so just take your time with it and slide them on. But they're quite easy to get on and quite easy to get off, and they look cool. They really do look good. I'm really impressed with how this is turning out. Let's get the other one on. I'm going to take the laces off to start with because I don't want to lose them. Bend the toe just like that and slide the shoe on. I think seeing Spider-Man in a pair of Jordans like this in the movie became so instantly iconic. It was a real, not a bold move, I don't want to say that, but it was giving him a real street look. And I think it ties in really nicely with the character of Miles Morales, and I love how they kind of reinvented the character in the movie in that way, and it was so widely welcomed. Having that Spider-Man suit underneath the kind of the hoodie and the jacket and the baggy shorts and the Jordans was just pretty cool. It was just a very cool look, and it was nice to have a new version of a Spider-Man that's been around for quite a while now. To be fair, he's not a new Spider-Man. I think it's about 10 years now we've had Miles Morales on the scene, but to have a new kind of reinvented look that also appealed to a new audience, it kind of gave him a fresh new kind of look, and that's part of the reason why I want this particular hot toy to be displayed in this look, because it's quite iconic with that first movie. And I think if I'm going to pick up another Miles Morales, I'll probably pick up the second movie version, and I'll display him as he was in the movie, where he was in the spider suit obviously throughout that film. It is a shame because the details on the suit are perfect. The spider logo on the front and the back look absolutely fantastic, and the red kind of paint on his shoulders as well looks really good. Now obviously this isn't a full hoodie, so it hasn't got any sleeves because you're putting the jacket over the top, and there's just no point in adding that extra bulk really. Take the hands off when you're putting the jacket on because you don't want to break anything when you're putting it on, but the jacket pretty much just feeds on like a normal jacket. But yeah, removing the sleeves of the hoodie is quite a sensible move because you then get a lot more articulation in the arms, and they don't look as padded out and as thick as they would if there was two actual layers on the figure. Now there is wiring in the hoodie and the jacket as well, so you can display that in your own pose. It doesn't have to just fall naturally. If you're going to have him in a jump in or a swinging pose or a wall crawling pose or something, you can actually play around with the direction of this soft goods over the top, which will give you quite a unique look for your display, which again is a really nice touch and something you would kind of expect from a figure like this from Hot Toys. But it could have quite easily been overlooked, but they didn't. They put that little bit of wiring in there so you can actually kind of flick the bottoms up or flick it out a little bit, or even kind of have it flicked more kind of open so you can see a lot more of that spider suit underneath. Now to add hands. Now I'm not going to put the closed fist hands on, I'm going to put different hands on because I think it just adds a little bit to the expression of the figure. I think I'm going to go for these wall crawling hands because they're not quite open, but there's expression in the fingers there, there's kind of bends in the fingers which just kind of add to the overall kind of look of the display, I think. So you can have him either crawling on something or holding something up, or of course just kind of with his arms back and his hands out like he is in a lot of the posters and the artwork. Now something I should point out is just here on the articulation of the wrist, there is a little insert, like a little indent, and if you bend the, I can't even think of what the right word is now, but the joint down, you can get the web in. So if you are going to use the thwip hands, you can actually put that web into his wrist, so it does look like it's coming out of his wrist, which is a really nice touch in comparison to some of the lower priced brands and smaller scale figures where the web piece is either held or wrapped around the wrist or something like that. The fact that these actually go into the wrist and come out are just those little attention to detail things that stand Hot Toys aside from other Hot Toys. Let's just get the balance right. Now I'm finding him a bit harder to stand up wearing the shoes because there's a little bit less articulation in that ankle when he's got the shoe on. Now they don't constrict the ankle, but I just find it harder to kind of wiggle that ankle around. So yeah, just be careful when you're standing him up. Now let's take a look at something else. Let's just move him about a little bit. I had to just adjust my light as well, so you got a bit of light on him. Now I mentioned earlier that the heads did have swappable hair. Now not the head that's on him obviously, because that's the masked head, but if you take a look at this unmasked head, you just pull the hair off and there's two magnetized pieces there, and if you get the one with the mask you can do exactly the same, and it's interchangeable, so you can put the mask on the kind of more comical look, and you can put more serious look, and you can put the hair on the more kind of comedic look as well. So there we go, nice little touch. You can swap those bits around, but I'm going to put them back on what they're supposed to be on, just so that we don't confuse them. So when I put them back in the box, I know which one came on which one. Now taking a look at the eyes, there are a whole bunch of combinations you could use for the eyes. There's a whole bunch of different looks. You could use two of the same ones. You've got 4 different sets. That's 4 looks in itself, but then you can mix and match. So like in the film where one eye is a lot smaller and one eye is bigger, or one eye is kind of a bit more closed and one eye is more expressive, depending on the particular style of pose you're going for, whether you're going to replicate a scene or not. Now I've made an absolute amateur mistake. There's actually a magnet in the box for taking his eyes off, and while I'm doing this video I completely forgot to use that, and instead I'm just peeling them off with my fingernail. So you can actually kind of get your fingernail in there and pull them off, but each of the eyes are magnetized, so you're not pushing them into holes, you're just slotting them on the top. Now I'm frustrated looking at myself because I completely forgot to use the magnet. I do remember, so I'll show you that in a second. But let's just go through some of them eyes. So this is a different one. It's not a huge amount different. The eyes are just a little bit bigger than the ones that are on him originally. Are the kind of standard Spider-Man eyes, I like to call them. They're just the kind of those teardrop shaped eyes, whereas these ones are a little bit bigger, so it's almost like he's seen something that, you know, he's shocked about or worried about or something. And then let's go for the complete other extreme and go for the one that is the kind of really small ones. And just watching this back, I'm really annoyed at myself for not using the magnet straight away, because it would have made this whole segment a lot quicker, because I'll show you in a minute, but they literally pop out. Now this is a very cool look. He looks like he's ready for action. He looks a lot more menacing, but for me it's all about the standard teardrop ones. They're oversized, they're big, they look cool. Here's one combination of putting 2 different ones on, like I said, so you can do that. That looks quite nice as well. I'm probably going to have a play around, to be fair, and see which combination I like the most, but the ones that he comes with in the box are a clear winner for me. They just look good. They're just good eyes. Is that a weird thing to say? They're just good Spider-Man eyes. Yeah, let's put him back as they are. So there we go. Here he is. Let me show you the magnet, because I think this is the point where I remember the magnet, so that I can show you exactly how it works. So here we go. It's a little magnet. You just put it on and pop it off like that. How annoying is that I didn't use that at the beginning? Straight on, straight off. So the eyes are magnetized to the head, and then the magnet is just a little bit stronger than the one in the head, essentially. So it allows the eyes to come off really easy. Hey ho. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but because I was unboxing this in real time, I didn't want to kind of edit it and go back and pretend that I remembered. Just thought I'd show you that I did actually forget. But do use those the little magnet remover thing, because it will save you damaging any of those eyes, especially as they're white as well. You don't want any scratches or cracks or anything in them, because they will show up really easily. So just remove a couple of things there with the power of editing, and taking a look at the stand. It's your standard kind of Hot Toy stand. There's all the clips and ways that you can spin it around and have it holding figures. And I must admit, the stands for Hot Toys are really well made and allow you to have a good pose in a cabinet or on a shelf without causing any damage to the figure. And they're quite subtle as well. For the size of a stand, they don't really stand out. This long piece here is all made of metal as well, and is completely flexible, and you can put it in a whole bunch of different positions. But let's take a closer look at the big background piece, because that is really smart. So I'm going to put the stand there, and I'm going to get this background piece out. So there is a large cardboard piece that goes around the stand, and then there are a number of Spider-Man sound effects, should we say, things like thwip and stuff like that, that you can slot into the stand as well, that kind of give it an even more 3D effect. And I think what's really nice about this stand is, even though it is made of cardboard, it does add to the overall aesthetic of the figure and where the figure's from. It's from that animated movie, and this big oversized kind of cartoon comic book movie animation thing stand kind of takes this figure back into that. So this cardboard bit is a lot harder than the stand. It's a lot more sort of firm, and that's what the stand goes onto, and it just sits around the main stand like that. So let me just put this on and show you how it works. Now the reason I'm doing this bit off camera is because it is so huge that it was just almost impossible to do it with all of the things in the way, and also with the to get the whole thing in camera. But there we go, that is the stand before it's attached. Now there are slots here for it to go into the rigid part of the cardboard, but you can also peel away these white bits and stick it to the underneath of this stand so that it all sticks together and holds together. Now if you've got a Detolf, I think that's the correct way of saying it, but the Detolf cabinets from IKEA, I do have a lot of those. You see them in the background of my videos. This is too big to fit in a single shelf, which is quite annoying. I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit annoying because it's just a little bit too big. It's maybe an inch too tall, but it's a really cool background, and it sits so perfectly around this stand as well. With the figure in the middle, it just looks really cool, and it just makes it much bigger. But yeah, just keep that in mind. But here he is, the Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales Hot Toys figure, 1/6 scale figure, and I am blown away by him. I'm really happy. I cannot wait to get him into a proper pose and on display. He is very quickly becoming one of my favourite figures this year. I'm so pleased that I picked him up, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself for waiting this long, but hey ho, here he is. What an awesome figure.
Man, I am not disappointed in the slightest. What a incredibly awesome figure. Do keep an eye on my Instagram, because I'm going to post a whole bunch of photographs of him in the various different looks and stuff. And of course, please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. But this is a very welcome addition to my action figure collection. Do stick around, because I'm going to be taking a look at a lot more Hot Toys coming up soon. Thanks very much. See you soon.